Did you pull my coat again?
Absolutely not.
Sinister forces, oppression and a vengeful spirit await the Most Haunted team as we travel to Merseyside.
And it was a block of wood.
What was that?
I'm Yvette Fielding, and this week I've brought my team to Liverpool and to one of the most haunted properties in the northwest of England, Speke Hall.
With a history stretching centuries into the past, Speke Hall was constructed in 1530 on the banks of the River Mersey in Liverpool. Finding notoriety in Tudor times as a safe haven for priests, the house has many unusual features which offered them protection, namely a priest hole, which was used on the event of any potential attackers approaching. Inhabited over the many years by society's richest and most affluent families, the Norrises, the Beauclerks and the Watts, Speke Hall is still said to be home to many more restless spirits, eager to remain in its lavish wooden frame. Dark shapes have been seen floating around the Great Hall. An unexplainable feeling of oppression is said to come over guests and staff alike, and chillingly, many visitors have reported feeling nauseous.
This is the Blue Room, where people are said to feel the terrifying presence of a negative, shadowy entity that, when encountered, whispers the words, "Get out." But this isn't the only place where paranormal stories are rife. Footsteps have been heard endlessly walking throughout these upper corridors when no one is here. But more alarming are pitiful sounds of children crying in the dead of night. Even with all these hauntings, Speke Hall has yet to give up its most tragic tale and its most prolific phantom. The tale goes that rather than face up to her husband's massive debts, philandering, and some say cult worship, Mary Norris is said to have thrown her own son out of the window of this tapestry room into the moat below, where she watched him slowly drown. Realising what she had done, Mary then followed her child into the murky water below, thus ending her own life. Since then, her ghost is said to roam the hall. With so many stories and such great sadness, no wonder Speke Hall has so many hauntings in its history.
I'm eager to hear if Most Haunted's resident historian Leslie Smith can cast some more light on Speke Hall's imposing darkness.
This is Speke Hall. It is absolutely beautiful, one of the most enchanting, half-timbered mansions you could ever see. Really, two families have been locked into this house. The first one is the Norris family, known as the de Norris, who were here from 1314 right the way through until we get to 1795. This property here has many ghost stories attached to it, spreading right the way over its history. There are a couple that are the most powerful. One for the tapestry room, when one of the Norris family, called Mary, who had a son called Topham, had her husband come home one day, Sydney, and say, "And by the way, me dear, I got you a bit of bad news. I'm afraid I've lost it all on gambling." It's said at that moment she picked up her child Topham and threw him out the window, followed by herself, plunging to their death. Not true, of course. They both survived. But what is true is the death of children in a household this big, sometimes thrown infanticide because they were bastards, is not that ill known. The tapestry room still has this clinging sensation that there is darkness in there. Many people complain of feeling they're being watched or followed. What is sure is the history of this house is absolutely remarkable, as much as it's lovely. Every nook and cranny is extraordinary. There's an eavesdropping hole, a priest hole, you'd expect that of course, and also a place where the devil is painted, with saints on a wall. I wonder why he's here.
Given the repressive atmosphere and harsh history, I'm keen to hear parapsychologist Dr. Kieran O'Keefe's opinion on the alleged paranormal activity in the hall.
Well, here we are at yet another fabulous Tudor property, black and white, you know. But, in your mind, how does this differ from other places?
This is a very welcoming place, and perhaps that'll lure the team into a false sense of security, because there are some negative associations with the place. One particular phenomena is in the blue room, and there's a voice heard, "Get out." I'll be focusing recording equipment on there, but it's certainly something for the team to be extra vigilant of.
What do you think to the story here now of the woman throwing the baby out of the window and into the moat below? Do you think it's a true story, or do you think it's just been made up over time?
Well, remember, of course, I lived in Liverpool for a number of years, and I even did a lot of parapsychology research in Liverpool, so this story is quite well known to me. And what we can verify with 100% certainty is the two characters, the mother and the actual baby. They did actually exist. What we do know from the records is that the baby lived to be 63 years old. So according to my research, and of course other people might dispute it, but according to my research, the baby lived on and on. So the story associated with the mother actually killing the baby is a false one, in terms of my opinion. However, there's the ghost story associated with it. You know, there's the mother that's supposedly seen here, so hopefully we'll see if we can pick her up tonight.
Also, there are children's voices heard crying. Now, if I heard that, I mean, I think that would really upset me.
I think as you know, we sit here and chat about Speke Hall, there is this realisation that there's a lot more auditory phenomena than there is any other sort of phenomena. So yeah, I'll be focusing the equipment on hoping to pick up that child sound. But it's something to be wary of. You're saying about your reaction to hearing a child crying, and it is very emotive to hear that. But the crew are now aware that that's what's heard. So let's be careful not to interpret any sound as being a child crying. So even a whine, it doesn't necessarily have to be a child crying. It could be another form of spirit calling out, or it could be a creaking floorboard. Let's just be extra vigilant.
A beautiful house, fantastic gardens and a rich history. Speke Hall has much to offer. But would we meet any of its ghostly residents?
Just... Whoa!
So somebody's having a go at me, and I don't know who it is.
And it was a block of wood.
What was that?
There's movement outside in the corridor.
8 nights. 8 paranormal investigations. 8 faces. This Halloween, Most Haunted comes live from the Northwest, where with the help of our live audience, we will attempt some of the most dangerous paranormal experiments ever.
Most Haunted Live Halloween, 8 Faces of Evil, coming soon, exclusive to Living.
Welcome back to Most Haunted. You would join us in an investigation into Liverpool's spookily derelict, majestic, yet very haunted Speke Hall, a location said to be abundant with spiritual energy. I'm hoping medium Billy Roberts, along with the ever-sceptical eye of Dr. Kieran O'Keefe, will be able to contact those spirits that remain here and seem to make their presence known in the building as we begin our lit walk around in the Great Hall.